Hello guys, welcome to the video. Let's get straight into some relegation teams that I believe could be good for you next season. Now the first team is going to be that of Montpellier in Ligue 1, and at the moment, unfortunately for them, they are sitting in 18th place, having lost their last 5 games, potentially more. 64 goals conceded, only 21 goals scored in 28 games out of the 34 that they have in Ligue 1. Now obviously they're not in a very good situation at the moment. Now obviously, I want you guys to do your own research for any teams or players that I suggest to you, because I don't know the team's ins and outs and any sort of financial incapabilities that the owner could be putting them through or anything like that. So make sure to do your own research. But that being said, there is a solid team within Montpellier. There are some good players that you can pick up, and they're a fairly aging squad from what I can sort of sense from them so far. So you got Lecomte, for example, who's sitting at 33. You got Savanier, who's also sitting at 33. Now I'm not sure if Delort is their main striker, but again, he's sitting at 33. Now there's obviously a couple of younger players. I believe Silla, no, he's 31. So I mean, they just seem to be quite old. Koulibaly, 24. I know this guy here, Enzo, is only 22 as well, and I believe he's out injured currently. But they are a decent prospect for yourself, potentially of next season. And if you didn't see my previous video for this same concept last year, I had Lorient down, for example. They were a League One side at that point in time, of course. Now, obviously, since gone down to League 2 and are doing really well, of course, in League 2 so far, topping obviously the standings at the moment with 61 points, 56 goals scored and 27 conceded. Now, obviously, you've got to take in mind, I've got a few teams here that will be within contender and a couple that will be within challenger. Maybe a bit of a spoiler, but yeah, Lorient was one of those teams, for example. So if you used them some point last year, or within the year, I should say, you probably come off quite well. And I just want to point out, guys, obviously I'm well aware that players will move. Some players will be transferred because it's seen through the bigger teams within that league. That there could be some real good opportunity to snap them up. Now, that can obviously work one of two ways. The first way is obviously that player goes to a club within the champion division or competition, as you can call it. So obviously that can be beneficial. Or if not, then obviously he goes down to League 2 for this example. And yeah, hopefully does really well for that team that year. Pick number 2 is going to be that of Leicester City. Now, obviously we know they're having a torrid time within the Premier League. Haven't scored a goal, I believe, in the last 5 or 6 games. I believe this. We'll check that in a minute. But again, just like Montpellier, they've got a good core going on there. Now, obviously, like I said before, players can move and will move. Players will want to run down their contract that might be ending at the end of this current season. So you obviously got to take that in mind when buying these sort of players. But like I said, there's give and takes for each one, of course. But again, there are some solid players to pick from, who plenty of them have obviously played in the Championship and scored really well doing so as well. So obviously got to take that in mind. Obviously, when it comes to Leicester at the moment, they are only got 17 points in the 30 games, 67 conceded, 25 scored. And as you can see here, lost 2-0, 3-0, 1-0, 2-0, 4-0. And I believe it goes on for another game or two about not scoring a goal. Basically guaranteed to go down at this point in time. So yeah, obviously, you know, that does suck if you are a Leicester fan, of course. But if you're a Sorare user and want to go into Challenger, which they could obviously do really well for you guys in, I believe there is a course for some really decent scorers here. Even if we look at Hermansen here, sitting at 24 years of age. Now, I don't believe he played anything last season when he was with Leicester initially. I believe he may even be before Leicester. No, he was playing the Championship, so here he goes. So obviously he scored quite well there, and I sort of want to bring up here the Football Championship. There you go. And there you go. Some really nice scores. Obviously not replicating that in the Premier League for obvious reasons. But again, you can pick up this guy. When he does, you lose under 23 utilities, and you're going to have sort of devalue even more. So yeah, £4 in the limited and £40 within rare. Obviously, I can only see that going down as we edge closer and closer to the season. But obviously, you've got to time this correctly as well, because a lot of people will probably be thinking the same way I am, potentially you watching this video as well, and think, yeah, I can utilise these guys in the Challenger, and they're going to be very, very solid. And obviously, they're going to be classic, don't forget, guys. So obviously, in season will not work for you, but they're going to be very solid as a classic team. And obviously, guys, when it comes to someone like Mavidity, probably butcher that. It's 37p as a time recording as well, £2.50 in the rare. Obviously, it says in season because he's not got no classical cards. But again, not a lot of money to sort of take your punt on for a challenger team next season. Again, if we look at his competitions in regards to the football, not Premiership there, the Championship, as you can see, they're much better scores. So yeah, look up certain aspects of this, his contract, obviously his age is another factor to take in mind. Did he or did he not play in the Championship or similar level before? Because they may not mind sort of, playing that, but if they've obviously got some sort of push to do something potentially with their career or want more for themselves, I guess you can say, then obviously take that in mind. They might want to push for a move. But if you've got the majority of these Leicester, Montpellier, or any of these other teams I'm going to showcase to you guys, obviously that is the chance you'll take, but not all of them are obviously going to leave. A lot of them will commit to their contracts and obviously enjoy more of a better time in obviously the Championship. Team 3, or 3 in English, Las Palmas is obviously going to be a half decent one for you guys. Again, this is the sort of team I feel like will sort of come back up, obviously depending on the sort of owner's style, or if they're just taking money out and things like that. Obviously, it's a lot of factors to take in consideration. It's not just going to be a go down, hop up again. So again, just take that in mind. But if we look at them in the standings currently, they are sitting in 19th, basically. Valladolid are basically all but relegated there. Las Palmas obviously have time to be able to bring it back. They are playing away to Getafe next, and yeah, only 8 games remaining as well. So they haven't got that long. Obviously, they will have a chance to sort of leapfrog Legans, Alaves, or Espanyol above, and obviously potentially push them down. So take that in mind. Just maybe keep an eye on these sort of teams over the next coming weeks. So, if they lose a couple more, draw a couple more, then likelihood is they're probably going to be relegated. Also look at the fixtures as well, if you want to look to sort of the short to medium term as well. But again, Las Palmas have a good few players to sort of pick from. Obviously, they've got Jasper Sillessen, who feels like he's been around for ages now. He's currently injured at the moment. I think only something minor. But again, you can pick him up there for £1.30. And defenders-wise, now I remember Alex Suarez, because I used to have him in my contender team, I believe, when Las Palmas used to play in, obviously, La Liga 2. And if we look at his scores again, let's have a look. Yeah, a lot better than his scores here in Santander. Obviously, there's a lot more reds and oranges. Obviously, he's prone to peaking, but all in all, he's a lot more consistent, I would say, in La Liga 2. Another one similar is going to be that of Sandro Ramirez here. Again, picking him up for 37p or £1.50, £2 there in the rare. But again, if we look at his scores throughout his whole career on Sorare data, that is anyway, you can see here when he was in with Smart Bank here, 7 goals, 3 assists, and 12 stars. Let's see, have a look here. 5, 6, 7 in 12. So again, not too bad the output. Unsure the DMPs, maybe he's injury prone. So that's obviously something you've got to take in consideration. Someone also, like I want to showcase to you guys as well, is Fabio Silva. Now, he says he's got a contract till June 2025, so it basically finishes at the end of this season. Now, I'm unsure again and don't keep up with Las Palmas' contract situations. So if you do know, leave it in the comments below just in case anyone wants to sort of see that. That'd be greatly appreciated. But again, a player who I feel like if he does take that step down towards La Liga 2, I believe he's going to be that sort of player to sort of propel him up. Now, I don't see why he would follow that. But, stranger things have obviously happened. But again, there's no real sort of anywhere to sort of base his previous scores off, apart from obviously at his first year, looks like in La Liga for Las Palmas, 10 goals, 3 assists in 26, not too bad at all. So yeah, definitely somebody obviously you can consider. And team 4 is going to be that of Southampton. Now, the Saints have been relegated officially now. So, mathematically they cannot avoid relegation. But yeah, it's a real shame because I have a little soft spot for them, but that's another video for another day, I'm sure. Obviously, recently just lost to Tottenham. But again, a good core around them and a team who sort of bounce between the Premiership to the Championship, depending, how their sort of playoffs and things like that go in the Championship. But they're typically at least, I would say, at least top 6, top 8 within the Championship. So there's definitely some fixtures that you can utilise them in the Championship competition next season. Like I stated before, obviously Southampton, as you can see there, have been relegated to the Championship. Done very poorly. Obviously, we went over Leicester. Well, Southampton have done even worse. 10 points in 31 games is diabolical. I think it's the worst and the quickest Premier League team that's ever been relegated. So obviously take that with a pinch of salt. But there is quite a disparity between the level of Championship and the Premier League. Typically, teams that go down from the to the Championship typically stay within the sort of top half unless they have been run really badly by their owner and just not done very well with replacing anybody, obviously, that have left from their relegation there. So I can see that with Leicester, and I can see that with Southampton. Now, Southampton have always been good with bringing youth through, having players up and coming and players who are just half established within the team and taking the forefront for the next coming season. And I can see this happening again. Because again, like I keep saying before, they've got players here who have really good core, basically. You've got people like Aribo, and you've also got someone like here, Kyle Walker-Peters. Now again, Kyle Walker-Peters, I believe his contract ends next season. But again, check that up real quick for me there. And again, if we look at the Football Championship, now his scores were phenomenal last season. Obviously, they're taking a dip this season, but again, obvious reasons. But again, a player that you can just pick up for as little as 50p and in rare £2.70 right there. So again, you can't, go all too wrong with it. Of course, like I said, many factors can obviously cause them to go down. Kyle Walker-Peters may move to another relegation fodder team next season, or a newly promoted Championship side. So obviously, that is the risk that you are running. But for a cheap Championship side that you can pick up for probably less than £10 or something along those lines for the majority of the collection, I think, again, speaks volumes and something that you can obviously consider. But again, guys, not financial advice by any means. But yeah, again, very, very solid scores. If we look at someone like Aribo, who I've not actually looked into yet, we go here and we'll look at the Championship again here. Steady scores, not the best. Maybe one to sort of miss out. But all in all, when he seems to play, he seems to hit some decent AA. So obviously one to maybe consider there. But all in all, Saints are a half decent team to look at, and I think they will sort of bounce back in the Championship. They are sort of a well-run club from my understanding. Anyway, and here's Mateus Fernandes again, another under 23 utility player that you can obviously utilise if you do play under 23. For as little as £2.40 or £20 in season. Fairly inflated, I would say, at the moment. But again, because they're relegated, people may just think, I'm just going to jump onto this because it's essentially a really cheap challenger team who could be in the top 6 of the Championship. Again, same with Ramsdale as well. Can I see him staying? In my opinion, no, but you never know. Again, with Ramsdale, because he's been relegated, I think 3 or 4 times, with 3 or 4 different clubs. So maybe he stays. But again, he will be very solid in the Championship for you. Obviously in the Challenger division. And your 5th team, guys, is going to be that of Deportivo Alaves in La Liga. Now, if we look at the La Liga standings again, as you saw for Las Palmas, they are 26 points. Alaves are on 30, currently have played 30, so Legans, depending on their result today, from goal difference, are not going to leapfrog, but they're going to really be pushing them closer to the end of the season. Now, why I chose Alaves was due to this, actually, basically their fixtures. You can see there, they're playing Real Madrid, Sevilla, Real Sociedad, Atletico Madrid, Atletico Bilbao, Valencia, who are in decent form as of time recording, Valladolid, very winnable game considering they are all but relegated, and again, a half-decent game there against Osasuna. A game they could potentially win there. Could be a very sketchy last couple of weeks if you were to take the leap with Alaves this time around. But yeah, 44 goals conceded, 33 goals scored in the 30 games is obviously not very good, hence obviously their league position. But again, there's some really decent players in here. has a contract till 2027. Now, I'm not sure when the last time when Deportivo were actually in La Liga Smart Bank or La Liga 2, but again, 2023, so it was only a couple of years ago. So yeah, here you go with Sevilla at £3 at the time recording. £38 there, again a little inflated because of the remainder of the season, but as you start to get into these last sort of few games, yeah, maybe he'll half that sort of price, who knows. But again, these are his scores in La Liga 2 and they're very, very solid indeed, and there are a few players like that. So for Deportivo Alaves, yeah, very solid, and you can pick them up apparently for a little €7, £5, maybe even the collection for about 10 to 12. So again, very solid. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, of course. If you haven't already, also make sure to hit a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. It'll be greatly appreciated. We're nearly at 1,000 and potentially we'll do, actually, you know what, we will do a giveaway. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you when I see you, and goodbye. And just a reminder, guys, if you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and also hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I upload.